I'm Nicole, and I would like to talk to you today about identity theft. Back in the day, identity theft was done by someone stealing your wallet and maxing out your credit cards, or stealing a piece of mail from your trash and obtaining your information. Nowadays, identity theft can be done from your neighbor next door or someone that is from across the world. What is identity theft? Identity theft is when someone commits a crime that involves wrongfully obtaining and using another person's personal data in some way that involves fraud or deception. Most of us don't realize how easily criminals can get our personal information without even breaking into our homes. What are the most common ways that identity theft is committed? According to the United States Department of Justice, there are several common ways that a criminal can get your personal information. Shoulder surfing is when you are in a public place and the criminal watches you enter in some information such as a debit card, PIN number, and they're at a nearby location. The Department of Justice also says that some criminals will dumpster dive, which means going through your garbage cans to get copies of things like old check stubs or bank statements. The Justice Department also makes mention that some pre-approved credit cards that you get by mail can be dangerous if you just throw them away. Sometimes a criminal can obtain these and have them activated just by calling them. Different types of identity theft. According to McAfee.com, there are 6 different types of identity theft, which includes new account fraud. This is when someone uses another person's information to obtain services using that person's good credit. This type often requires the victim's social security number. Account takeover fraud. This is when the criminal uses another person's account numbers to get services. Criminal identity theft, which is when someone commits a crime under another person's name. Medical identity theft is considered the deadliest form of identity theft because entries may be put into the victim's medical record that could result in inappropriate and life-threatening decisions by medical staff. Business or commercial identity theft is when the criminal uses a business name to obtain credit. And last but not least, identity cloning, which includes all forms of identity theft. The thief is actually living and functioning as the victim on purpose. These people can sometimes be hiding in plain sight because they're running from the law. How does identity theft affect your credit? Well, according to Barry Paperno from Credit.com, long term, there should be no damage to your credit from identity theft. But short term, you could lose more than 100 points from your score and not regain all of them until after the fraudulent information is removed from your credit report. What are the federal laws regarding identity theft? According to the OVC.gov, the Legislative Committee is trying to create federal identity theft laws that balance the competing needs of victims, the government agencies, and businesses, but still stay flexible enough to anticipate future crime issues. Congress passed the Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act of 1998, which made identity theft be listed as a federal crime. This law accomplished 4 things. It made identity theft a separate crime against the person whose identity was stolen. It established the Federal Trade Commission as the federal government's one central point of contact for reporting this issue. It increased criminal penalties and closed legal loopholes. There is also the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is the law governing the accuracy and privacy of credit reports. This law requires consumer reporting agencies and creditors to help victims overcome and recover from theft and allow consumers to place alerts on their credit files if they believe they have become a victim themselves. What to do if you do become a victim of identity theft? If you think that you may have been a victim of identity theft, you need to act on it as soon as possible. When you contact the appropriate offices immediately, this will allow you to minimize the damage to your personal accounts and your reputation. You will need to contact the Federal Trade Commission to report the situation. You will also need to contact the post office to have your mail redirected to somewhere that is safe until the issue is resolved. You can also call all of the credit reporting companies, which include Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. The most important thing that we need to know is how to protect ourselves from identity theft. And according to the United States Department of Justice, there are several ways to reduce the risk of becoming a victim of identity theft. And these include, they recommend that if you receive a phone call stating that you could receive a major credit card or some other type of prize, do not give these people any information over the phone. That you simply ask them to send you a written application form. And if they tell you that they can't do that, then automatically you need to respond with, "I'm not interested," and hang up, because it's probably a scam. However, if you do receive an application in the mail from them, you need to review it carefully and make sure it's from a well-known institution. They also recommend that if you are traveling and you won't be home, you need to have your mail kept at the post office or have a reliable family member collect it when you're gone. Also, when traveling, if you need to give someone personal information about yourself over a telephone call, you need to do it in private, not while in public places. If you're using a payphone, you need to use one that you can step inside and close the door behind you, or wait until you're in a more private, secluded area. A very important thing to do is to check your financial account statements monthly, to check and make sure only things that are supposed to be going in and out of your account are the only ones listed on there and nothing else. Something else that all of us need to do is we all need to obtain a copy of our credit reports periodically to assess whether or not someone has wrongfully opened or are using any accounts in our names. The IRS is also taking action to help protect taxpayers from identity theft. They are working to speed up case resolution, they're training more staff to assist with cases, and they are reaching out and educating taxpayers to help prevent and resolve these issues. They're also using new screening filters to improve their ability to spot false returns and take care of them before they're even processed. According to TransUnion, everyone should only carry their essential documents with them and should have the others locked away at home. They also suggest that when ordering new checks, you pick them up at the bank instead of mailing them. Since we live in a world full of technology, they also recommend creating passwords or PIN numbers out of a random mix of letters. I hope that hearing about this information today has made you a little bit more aware of what identity theft is and how it can take place and how important it is for all of us to take action and help prevent this from happening to us. Thanks.